Hi everybody, and welcome to my new craft room actually. Hope that you're all doing well. I did promise you a few little projects to keep you out of mischief. So this is the first one here, okay? So what we've got is, those of you that have done the encyclopedia class with me have sort of covered this technique, but it's just a little bit of a twist on the technique. So what we've got here then is the archival distress resist on a coated card. Only what we're doing here is we're going to use an embossing folder. So let me tell you what we're going to need. Okay, so the cardstock is quite important. So what we've got here is the I'm using the clarity coated card. So let's see if you can see it's just sort of got a sheen. It's not shiny, it's silk coated card. Okay, so we're gonna have a piece of that. We're also, if you're going to put a sentiment across, as I've done here, a piece of parchment. An embossing folder. So I've gone for this one. There's lots of folders that this is going to work with. Some of them are going to be better than others. It's simply a case of trial and error. See what you've got, drag them out and have a little go. So this is an old one, Cuddlebug Provo Craft, years and years and years old. So this one I thought would work quite well, and it did. So what else we're going to need? So some inks then. So the archivals. Now I've gone for a couple that you might recognise that we have used previously. These are lovely, lovely colours, so nice and sort of vibrant. So the manganese blue and the vibrant fuchsia. Okay, so those are archivals. And then what I've got here is just simply, because I couldn't make my mind up which brown to go for, I've just grabbed a couple out, and we'll see what it's like using two different browns. Okay, so this is regular distress. These are not oxide, they're just a regular distress, but any kind of water-based, dye-based, translucent ink is going to be okay for this. So maybe, for example, I could have used my Adirondacks, which are up on the wall. So I've gone for those. And then, just because we're going to stamp a sentiment here, I've gone for black archival. So let's see. So to apply inks, now as far as onto the design here, I've actually gone direct to paper. So what's the initials? DTP, that's it, there you go, DTP. But I'd rather say direct to paper, because I remember somebody saying that years and years ago when I was sort of new and thinking, I have no idea what that is. It sounds great, sounds technical, but I don't want to look stupid. Okay, so it's direct to paper if you hear DTP. And then for the brown, we're just going to use a blending tool. Okay, what I found was, with the lovely brushes that we seem to be using more and more, these aren't quite as good for this technique. I will do a video at some point on when we would use each of these, because although we love these and we're using them a lot, it doesn't mean we're throwing these away. Okay, so don't go doing that. All right, let's jump in and make a little start. This is just a nice quickie, this, because I'm still getting my breath back, to be honest, from our move, and there's things, occurred, and it's just all been a little bit crazy. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've run the card through the embossing machine already, so that it's embossed. So we're going to take the archival colours then, and just quite literally, so I've got the raised side here. Okay, I did try the other way round, and it wasn't so good really. I tried, and this was with a blending tool, so it's a subtle look, and that's quite sort of pleasant, but it wasn't right. Okay, so all I'm going to do then, just very lightly now here, is I'm just going to take the pad across like so, just lightly, Okay, and then when you establish how much ink you are actually applying onto your piece, then maybe you could apply a little bit more pressure. It's okay to get a little bit of this ink on the lower areas and around the edges, but you don't want a lot. Okay, you don't want the main sort of colour on your design. So if you press too hard to begin with and you get ink all over, then it's kind of, I don't know how to save that one. Okay, so come in gently to begin with, and as I say, you can then just increase your pressure just a little bit and just keep just circling. There we go. Okay, so that's starting off quite nicely. And then we've got the manganese blue as well, so let's have a go with that one. And again, just come in gently, gently, gently. Okay, and then get some of that. You can see down the bottom that there's quite a bit. That's okay because it's toward the edges, but I can see that this pad needs a little bit more what's the word? I need to be just a little bit more gentle with this one. It's a little bit more temperamental. So gentle, gentle, gentle. I think that'll do. That'll be okay. We haven't got to completely cover the raised areas. I'm going to come back in with my darker pink, and I'll bring this down and overlap there a little bit as well onto the blue. There we go. And then we've got an extra colour there as well, and then we've got some colour around the edges, so I'm quite happy with that. That'll do for me. Okay, so we'll give that just a little sort of waft. I mean, to be honest, the Archivals are fast drying inks anyway, so you shouldn't need to worry too much about that. Okay, so we've now got these dye base, these distressing. So I've got walnut stain and tea dye. So let's grab a tool here with a sponge on, and let's have a look. I'm going to go with a little bit of tea dye first of all, just to sort of see, is it going to, oh, hello. We've got a new setup for the cameras of positioning and where it's attached and all that. So this is all this is kind of the test, I suppose, and to see if it's workable. It looks great, it looks lovely, but we'll see. Right, here we go. So let's come in with some of the tea dye first of all, and we'll see if that's got enough kind of impact. If not, we can mix things up. Here we go. So it's quite nice actually, the tea dye. There we are. It's a soft sort of a brown, so I can give this plenty of pressure because don't forget I'm trying to get past the raised texture of the embossed card. Right, let's have a look now. Do I want to, I am going to use the other colour. I want to decide, do I want it around the edges or mix it in? Let's try it around the edges and see how we get on. Here we go. And we'll kind of, we'll blend the two and see what we get. The advantage of the darker brown, of course, is that the bright Archival colours, the contrast between the two is more pronounced. If you have a look here, let me put a little bit more on. There we go. And then we'll do a little bit of zoom in. I'm still working on the lighting as well. I don't think I've got my lighting quite right. There we go, let's see. So you can see how that bright colour is it's still nice and bright, isn't it? I'll zoom back out a little bit. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to stick, I think, with the walnut stain because I think the tea dye is not quite giving me what I want. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to move the tea dye so I don't stick my tool in there. There we go. We can get plenty of colour on here. This is one of my favourite techniques. I think actually resist techniques in general I really do enjoy, and there are so many with so many different products, you know. Right, how's that? So I think that's dark enough. Let's have a little look. So you can see that the bright colours are still nice and bright. I like that. Now let's have a little look here. I'm just going to give a tiny little polish up like so. And then another thing that we can do on here as well, if I can say now where did I decide my water was going to live? I've got so much stuff, it's crazy. Water, that one looks like water. I'm going to open it and smell it. No, it's got something floating on the top, oily. Yeah, no, that's got, oh, that smells nice, but it's not water. I wonder if that's one of Amber's hair products. It could be, it could be. Wait a minute. That's not water. Here we go. So now this one definitely looks like water. I'm going to open it and smell it. Yes, we've got some water. Whoa. Okay, so if we wanted to add a little bit of extra texture in here, what we can do, because this is archival ink, so this isn't going to go anywhere when I introduce water, but this is dye based. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just a few sprays, just so I get a bigger blobs, if you like. Let's have a little look. How much have I got on there? Yeah, that'll do. That will demonstrate the there we go. That should show you what I'm wittering on about. Here we go. Oh yeah, so now we've got a lovely texture in the background as well. I think that's quite cool. Right, let's make this into a card. There we go. So it's a nice technique. Let's pop that to one side for a second. I'm going to need a stamp platform, and they are below me under my desk. Ta-da! Here we go. Season greeting. I didn't quite get as far as the old Christmas cards. On the, what day was it? Was it the 20th? I think it was the 20th, after we'd finally unloaded our boxes from moving house and so forth, and got my room sorted, just ready enough to be able to use. And Pete went out. He said, right, I'm going to go and pick Amber up. We'll see you shortly. And off he went. So I thought, right, okay, now's the time. We've got to get some of these cards done. And I got as far as inking up 4 pieces of card with oxides, and I got a phone call that was a little bit alarming, actually. And unfortunately, Pete had quite a nasty car accident on Woodchurch Road, which is just less than 5 minutes from home. So that was a worry. So luckily he's fine. Minor injuries. Car isn't. Car is absolutely, good grief. It's a good job it was a good, safe car, because how he walked away from that, I don't know. And luckily he was on his way to pick Amber up, so we didn't have her in the car, so it could have been a whole lot worse, but it meant it, you know, hospital for him. And then, you know, as you can imagine, that just sort of knocked me for 6. You know, I think things like that tend to turn your stomach, don't they, when things like that happen. So so Christmas cards did not happen at all. There was not a single family member who got a Christmas card, but everybody understood, as you can imagine. Right, let's have a little look here. So we've got our piece of parchment, so I'm just going to pop my stamp on here like so. Let's have a look. Okay, let's hope that's straight, and we'll pop that down and pick that up. Okay, and then give that an ink up. There we go. Right, okay, over we go. Actually, it's quite wide, that piece of parchment, isn't it? I think. We can try it and have a look. Okay, that's inked. I don't need to re-ink that, so let's get rid of that. I've got to put that Christmas stamp away now, haven't I? Maybe next year I'll be a little bit luckier and we'll have some Christmas cards done. Who knows? There's always something, isn't there? God. Right, so let's have a little look at this on there. It is a bit wide, but I think just so we can kind of put this card together, I'm going to, actually I've got ink on there now, so no, I'm going to carefully, because the thing is, this ink is still going to be wet. Stamping on parchment is a tricky one because the ink kind of just sits on top. So you do have to either give it a little blast with your heat tool or leave it to one side, or of course use stays on. There we go, that'll do, it'll be fine. There you go, that's better. Right, so what I need is, I'm going to reach down into my sticky drawer. There we go. And I'm going to grab some double-sided. So what I'm going to do is just pop that over here like so, and take that off, and then I'm going to just hover up in here. I can't put the card down now because I've got tape at the back, so let's have a little look. Just hover with that, get that nice and straight, and then we can take, there you go, take the parchment around, just bend it around your card like so, and it will latch onto the sticky. There we go. Okay, and then I have gone ahead and I've cut a piece of black card. So on this project, I'm not using my Sharpie pen trick around the edges because it's not quite so good on the coated card. So when I use the coated card, I more often than not actually layer onto black card, or whatever colour card. Here we go, let's have a little look. Let's hover first of all. Let's try and get this straightish. Does that look okay? I know you can't see the bottom, can you? Here we go. I can see the bottom, I'm just not. There you go, that'll do. Right, so let's get rid of that. Let's turn that over. Let's get a bit more tape on. We might as well put it on a card, mightn't we? And then I've got a blonde hair there. There we go. I'm just going to put a couple of pieces on. That'll be fine. I've got my card blank. Let's just give that a fold. So this is a 5x7. I'm at my two, I think my two favourite card sizes at the moment are 5x7 and 6x6, because I think 5x7, it's bigger than 6x4, which I think is a little bit diddy, but it's not as big as A5, because sometimes that can be a little bit on the big side. There we go, how's that? So that is your first bonus project from me. So hopefully you'll have a few bits and bobs to have a go at that. As I say, just to remind you what you need, we started off with an embossing folder and some silk coated card. I've used a couple of Archival ink pads. You can use VersaFine, but you do need to let them dry, okay, for quite some time. So this one, I tend to go with this for quickness. And then for the brown background, we've gone for water-based, translucent ink. So I've used a couple of regular distress inks for that. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed that. Have a little go, and I will see you again quite soon. I've got a few bits and bobs that I'd like to share with you, and they'll just pop up. Okay, I haven't set myself a schedule because life gets in the way. They will just sort of appear, and hopefully they'll be a nice surprise for you. Okay, so take care everybody, lots of love from me, and a big huge crafty hug. Bye.